John McAfee's name is known to millions as the founder of the computer antivirus company that bears his name, and more recently for his international saga of disguises, faked heart attacks, a dead neighbor, and lots of guns and young women. It has all the makings of a movie. Here to talk about that and more, we have John McAfee. Sir, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
So I want to do a bit of a reset on all of this, just so that everyone's on the same page. You know, how did we get here? The numbers have been disputed, but we've heard from $100 million that you once had to $4 million. Then your dogs end up dead. Then there's a neighbor next to you who ends up dead. Next thing we know, you are on the run. How did we end up where we find ourselves now?
Well, it depends on where you want to begin. You know, if we're beginning with the money, you know, no one really knows how much money I have, including myself. It's a difficult thing to count something which is constantly changing. If we begin with Belize, the first 5 years were heaven on earth. I was living on the island of San Pedro, fishing and boating and having a great old time. I moved into the jungle after 3 years there, built a compound in the jungle. This is on the mainland. I began to really enjoy life there and started living there full time. I was the only white man or the only foreigner in the entire district of Orange Walk, which is 10,000 people, and it covers about 1/5 of the entire country of Belize. So that should have been a warning sign to me that I should have walked more carefully or acted, you know, less obtrusively. And in April of last year, a representative of one of the government officials came and asked for a donation of $2 million. In return, I would get all of these benefits. I was not interested in the benefits, and certainly not interested in giving $2 million to the government. I ushered them out. A week later, 42 armed soldiers stormed my property, shot my dog, did $500,000 worth of damage, and all this was you know, published in, you know, photographs in every newspaper in the world. And they held me handcuffed in the sun for 14 hours and let me go. 2 weeks later, they come back and said, "Have you reconsidered your donation?" And I said, "No, get off my property." And I then went to the international press, to the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, whoever would listen to me, and says, "Look, you know, this is not right. There's something bizarre going on." That was mistake number 2. That pissed everybody off: the prime minister, the government, the police, and they began a program of harassment, ending with the death of my neighbor, which they conveniently tried to finger me. They didn't at any time say that I killed the man or I had anything to do with it. They wanted to question me as a neighbor. But in Belize, when you are called in for questioning by the police, they can keep you in prison for 60 days without charging you or even asking you any questions. This is the law. I was not willing to do that, so I left.